Well, hello. I didn't see you standing there. As I was lounging around my library, scouring through the newspaper, I came across a rather peculiar article. It was about the dwindling religion of Zoroastrianism.
We were once at least 40, 50 million. Can you imagine? At one point, we had reached the pinnacle of glory of the Persian Empire and had a beautiful religious philosophy that governed the Persian kings. Where are we now? Completely wiped out. It pains me to say, in 100 years, we won't have many Zoroastrians.
There is a very real fear that Zoroastrians are experiencing these days. A faith which has existed for over 3,000 years may be on the verge of extinction. Despite its influence on three of the world's major religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, there has been a distinct decline in the practice of Zoroastrianism. Many scholars, like myself, believe that Zoroastrianism cross-fertilized Judaism and its doctrines of a single God, a dualistic universe of good and evil, and a final day of judgment.
The first mortal that Ura Maghdad spoke to about the Zoroastrian religion was Yima. Maghdad asks Yima to be the preacher and bearer of Zoroastrianism. However, Yima refuses, for he was not prepared. Maghdad gives Yima another proposal, which is to watch, rule, and nourish his world. Yima gladly accepts, and Maghdad gives him two implements, a golden seal and a poniard inlaid with gold. Thus, with these implements, Yima is capable of making the world increase in size every time Maghdad warns him that the world has become too crowded. 3 times, Maghdad warns Yima that the world has become full of flocks and herds, of men and dogs and birds, and of red blazing fires, and there's room no more for flocks and herds and men. And 3 times Yima stretches the world. Every time Yima stretches the world, harsh winters threaten to destroy all life. Maghdad instructs Yima to create a vara by crushing the earth with his heel, and to knead it with his hands, like a potter does when kneading his clay. The vara was to be sealed up with a golden seal, and it would have a door and a window that self-shines within. Only the best of the animals, seeds, and humans would be in the vara. In the vara there was no sight of the stars, the moon, and the sun. In the vara a year only seems like a day, and in the vara the best animals and humans live the happiest life.
The creed has long and descriptive sentences that utilizes repetition to emphasize the daivas, which are demons who cause plagues and disasters. For example, I reject the daivas and their comrades. I reject the demons and their comrades. I reject any who harms beings. I reject them with my thoughts, words, and deeds. I reject them publicly. The hymn is a long apostrophe to Ahura Mazda. They ask Mazda for the blessing of humans, of the spirit, because having both worlds signifies happiness.
Zoroastrianism was founded about 3,500 years ago by Zoroaster. He believed in one creator God and taught that only one God was worthy of worship. In 549 BCE, Cyrus the Great led the Persians to take over Iran. The Persians tolerated Zoroastrianism, so it was a peaceful ruling. Unfortunately, in 331 BCE, Alexander the Great defeated Darius III and conquered Persia. Alexander was not a tolerant ruler, so the Zoroastrians suffered greatly. Many of the priests were killed, and Zoroastrianism texts were destroyed. But from 141 BCE to 224 CE, the Zoroastrians made a comeback. Between 331 and 141, the Greeks took over Persia and Alexander the Great died. But soon, the Arsacids overthrew the Greeks. This is when the Zoroastrians began regathering their sacred texts. Another terrible blow the Zoroastrians had to go through was the Arab conquest. In the 7th century, Arabs invaded and took over Persia. This invasion was far worse than the one from Alexander the Great. Great libraries were burned and almost all culture was lost. As you can see, Zoroastrianism has survived many disastrous events to make it here today.
The code of a Zoroastrian is laid out in their holy book, the Avesta. The most important Zoroastrian codes are those related to marriage and family. The standpoint on marriage is similar to that of Islam. It is to be with someone of the same religion, and preferably to be between cousins or next of kin to prevent extinction. However, the rules have recently changed to be more accepting of Zoroastrian to non-Zoroastrian marriage, as long as the marriage is in compliance with Zoroastrian rituals. The family rules state that the father is to be the head of the household. If the father dies, the inheritance is given to the widow, and equally to the brother and sister. However, it is more commonly practiced to give the brother double what the sister gets. Another duty of a Zoroastrian is to have children after marriage. The children are to drink the juice of an intoxicating plant at birth and go through the proper ceremonies later on.
As an initiation into the faith, the ceremony marks the second birth of the child, i.e., the birth of the child into the Zoroastrian society. Induction into the Zoroastrian faith for many Zoroastrians is one of the most important rites of passage in their lives and in the lives of their families.
નવ એટલે નવો અને જ્યોત એટલે દિલમાં દાખલ થનાર નવ જ્યોતિ. નવજોત સેરેમનીમાં જ્યારે નવજોત થવાની હોય બચ્ચાને તો એની ઉંમર 10-12 વર્ષની અંદર હોવી જોઈએ. લગભગ 7મે વર્ષે કરી દે ત્યારે એટલે અમુક ભણતર મોને કરવાનો હોય. કેમના મજદા ઉર્મસ કુદાય જસમે ઊંઘે મજદા દિલનો કલમો વગેરે વગેરે. નવજોત થવાની હોય તે દિવસે એને કોન્સિક્રેટ કીધેલો નિરંગ હોય તે પીવારી અને એને સિક્રેટ બાથ આપવામાં આવે. એને નોન કહેવામાં આવે. એક પ્રીસ્ટ ઊભા રહે અને પહેલે દારમની પાથરી ચવારે તે ચવારી લે પછી નિરંગ પીવાડે. ઇન ફોરુમ ઇન પાકીએતાન એટલે મારું અંદરનું બોડી કહીને એને નિરંગ પીવાડે પછી એને ચોખ્ખા પાણીથી નવારે.
The Navhote ceremony is still practiced today and is considered a milestone in every Zoroastrian's life. The Sudra and Kusti given to the initiate are articles of faith and are worn as undergarments from the Navhote ceremony and onwards throughout the rest of their life.
As you can see, Zoroastrianism is an intriguing religion that is unfortunately declining. I hope you enjoyed this enchantingly breathtaking adventure throughout time. Farewell, my friends.